Okay, and we live again, bro, Captain. Okay, yes, sir. We good, Brother Alfonso, right now. Thank you all. I want to thank everyone for tuning in for Off the Record. Uh, I really appreciate our guest, our very special guest, Brother Alfonso Muhammad. And I thank you all for watching with us this evening. Okay, Brother Captain, I want to get straight to the finish your point of what it was like to be a child when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed.
Okay. Like I was saying, that when the nation fell and knowing that we had all that we had, and it was gone, seemed like overnight.
Yes,
when
sir.
he left. And it was as if no one had ever heard of the Nation of Islam anymore.
Mm.
And me being a Muslim child, I'm still converting my friends to Islam, but had no place to take them to. And so we had many friends who became Muslims, but we had no place to turn them over to. So it was a sad, lonely situation until around 78, when a brother who helped raise me in Islam, Brother Guy, he called our house one morning around prayer time and said, "Go and look out your window." And we looked out the window, and there was a crescent moon in the sky with the star up in it. And we stayed and looked at that until the sun started coming up.
Yes,
and when
sir.
the sun started coming up, we could see kind of reflection. And I asked my mother, "What is those little things flying around the star?" And it dawned on us it was a mother plane and a baby plane was flying all around it. But that was the sign that the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, that was around 77 when that happened. And it must have been the sign that he had stood up, or it was time for him to stand up. And shortly after that, maybe a year or so later, we started looking for study groups, and came across Brother Guy's brother, who was in the nation. It was three of them brothers in the nation: Brother Guy, Brother Harold, and another brother, Sherman, and I believe. And he told us about the study group, the one that he was over. But there was like 2 or 3 other ones that we knew nothing about. The minister would come and he would set up study groups, but he wouldn't tell the other study group about the other study group. And many of them would, be working until they ran into each other and got to arguing over who was the representative, and then he would come and bring them all together as one big study group.
Okay, yes, sir. Okay, excellent. What was it like for you to first meet the Most Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Minister Farrakhan used to come to Washington, D.C. and teach every other Tuesday. And, in building a nation, you get a lot of problems. And it got to the point where he said he would be the minister of Washington. So he would come every other Tuesday. If he didn't show up, Minister Akbar would come. And so we would, me and my brother would cover down on security posts. I was young, maybe 17, 18, around that time. And so I never really actually met him personally until maybe when we started getting on the road in Washington, D.C. We was like the first security team Washington, D.C. was around the minister. And I met him sometime back. In fact, he gave me an assignment to tell him what the name Alphonso meant. And I have never told him what I found out thus far of my finding. One day, if Allah, maybe I will get the opportunity to have finish that conversation with him.
Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. What was it like having parents who reared you in Islam? What was that like to already be and to have both of your parents raise you in the nation? What was that like?
Strict. Very strict. Islam. We gave up one master for another master. We gave up this white master for Master Fard Muhammad. But in joining the Nation of Islam, there's restrictions. And these restrictions is to set, not to harm us, but to save us from our own doing. So it's very strict until you grow up into understanding why it's as strict as it is. Then you can appreciate God. You can see that he was saving us from ourselves.
Yes,
So
sir.
it's very strict. It's not easy to be a Muslim in the Nation of Islam. That's why we're called the fruit, the best, because he only wants the best. And those of us who can endure to the end, our reward will come.
Yes, sir. Excellent. What was it like being a dope buster in Washington, D.C. During the time period of the 80s? How was that like?
That was very trying time, very challenging time, very fulfilling times to do the work that you know is helped to save our people. And you had to be a tight brotherhood to go through what we went through.
Yes, sir.
You know, I thank Allah for your father and the kind of man he was in organizing the brothers through that time, because we was up against a lot of danger. I remember your father telling the minister that they said that the drug boys from Washington, D.C., the Jamaicans, was coming down from New York.
Mm-hmm.
The minister said, brother, how long does it take to get from New York to Washington? And your father said, 4 hours. So, in other words, that ain't our worry. They was coming there, be there by now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we focus on the work. You know, a lot of us, because of the challenge and the threats, we lost our jobs because we stayed on that post, on that site for weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so in fact, I was the first Muslim that moved on Mayfair Mansion.
Yes, sir. And did you ever fear for your life? And if so, how did you overcome that?
Well, I can't say if we feared, because our love for the brotherhood was much stronger.
Yes, sir.
You know, so it wasn't a fear. It was always alert, being on alert. You know, there was always challenges, but we didn't run. We didn't fear. You know, the minister, Dr. Alim, or Captain, Regional Captain Sharif at that time, they didn't breed. He didn't make us that way. You know, they didn't train us that way to fear. We loved one another, so we stayed and we was ready to fight and die for each other.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. What was it like with NY security and you all having sites and things like that? As far as like financially, it seemed like everybody seemed to be doing successful back in those time periods. What was it like to have, you know, to have a security company and you being so integral in having a security company? How was that like?
You know, we say, fake it till you make it, bro. Well, there was a lot of that going on.
Okay, yes, sir, yes, sir.
You know, but yeah, the little that Allah bless us again, we thank Allah. You know, it's a lot of challenging. There's a lot in teaching and training men security. I caught a lot because it's one thing to be the FOI and do what we do. Yes, you know, we'll lock down a fire hydrant if we had to.
Yes,
but it's another thing when you become a licensed, bonded security company. There's laws and things you have to obey. You know, you got to use enough force to obtain an arrest. I mean, you can't beat the hell out of somebody and, you know, as a law enforcement security company. Yes, sir. You know, we stumble mud hole and yes, FY, but as a security company, you can only use enough force to obtain an arrest. So, because I went to a law enforcement academy, Brother Sharif asked me to help train the brothers and lieutenants in security. And he sent me all around the country in doing that, but that was challenging because who is Alphonso, man? He gonna come teach us, you know, so. Okay, whatever.
Yes, how did you overcome that?
Because they came to the class and they soon learned that this boy knows something by the grace of God. And, you know, I was a quiet brother, but what I knew is what I knew. And security was always my thing.
Okay, excellent. Yes, sir. What was it like traveling during that time, as far as when the Most High Missiles Farrakhan was on those tours and leading up to the Million Man March? What was it like and the climate being in Washington, D.C.?
Well, it's always wonderful to travel with the man of God, on those roads. So, we spend a lot of money because we came out of our own pockets, I remember many a days that we would really hit the road and we would get our little paycheck from NOI and, we would spend our little paycheck on that road. But Allah always seemed to bless us to come through, but you learned a lot. We learned a lot. We sometimes there's 10, 12 brothers in one room, so we bonded and we made it happen.
Yes, sir.
I remember one time we was on the road with the minister and he knew that our monies was getting short evidently, and he asked Brother Ernest to pay us out of the tape money. And me, Brother Naj, and Brother Nada, Ernest. And, we didn't want to take no money from the man of God. But, he had a way of making you listen to him. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We needed it, but we didn't want to take it. And
yes,
it make you feel some type of way taking money from your leader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You thirsty as hell, but, you're hungry as hell, but you don't want to take no money from him.
Yes, sir. And I thank you for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family on behalf of myself and my family as well. What was it like during the May Man March in Washington, D.C.?
The climate was high. The city was on fast moving. It was always on the alert, and there was a lot going on. There was many meetings after meetings after meetings after meetings. Groups coming in, the minister coming in, meeting with the groups. And I mean, to watch the minister inspire these other groups, to inspire the people up under them, I mean, that's what made it happen.
Yes, sir.
He would go to all these little meetings, man. This man moved the whole country to Washington, D.C. on a Monday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But it took some work. And to be in those meetings and watch and see the believers, how they work, but how the minister works. It's a blessing to be able to say I was there.
Yes, sir.
I was part of that. We did whatever it took to make it happen.
Yes, sir. Okay, excellent. And I want to thank everyone for watching. Brother David says, Walaikum salam from the Philippine Islands. He's alumni Muslim 15. My sister Miriam says, all praises to Allah. And thank you so much. Thank you all for watching. I want to also make sure that I shout my sponsors out. Thank you, Mimi, with her book, ABC I Love Me. Rashad, Politically Oppressed, with his shirts, Street Premiere as well. And also my book, Cleopatra, is on Amazon. Okay, Brother Alphonso, you've worked with many celebrities doing security or businesses. What have been some of your best, your favorite celebrity stories, the people to work with in your line of work?
I enjoyed working, of course, with Public Enemy. That was some of the first ones. We did Eddie Murphy, Raw Tour. That was interesting. It was quite interesting, When you starting out building a nation, you see a little bit of everything as the men trying to get themselves right. They ain't right off the bat. It takes time.
Yes, sir.
So you see things, I would say to everyone who's listening, my experience in knowing that we wasn't right, but me being so close to your father, Brother Sharif, I was his personal security and your family security,
yes,
for that matter. And people always, there's been people who asked me, what was it like to be that close to Brother Sharif? And I thank Allah because I could always say to them, whatever, if anything, one thing I can say, that man ain't never did nothing in front of me that I could say he did it wrong. He's always been showed me the right course.
Praise Allah.
So I thank Allah for the training that I got from your father. As it was my first captain. Brother Wali was my first captain in Washington, D.C. Brother Harry was the second.
Yes, sir.
Brother George, I think, was the third. And brother, I can't think the tall David was like the fourth. Akil was like the fifth, and I think Brother Sharif was like the sixth. If Akil was I think Akil might have been just the first officer at that time. And then Dr. Aline chose Brother Sharif to be the captain. Because Brother Sharif, under Brother Akil being the first officer, had a squad. He was lieutenant. And he asked me and my brothers to join his squad. And I remember that conversation. I said, well, I don't want to waste my time. If it ain't going to be strong law, he said, fine, I promise you it's going to be strong.
Yes,
and it was strong, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The editor, Brother Richard, he was in that squad. And, that's where we got our training.
Yes, sir.
That's where we hit the ground running when that happened.
Praise
I thank Allah for that.
Thank you, sir. And your daughter, Sister Leah, says, proud to be your daughter, soldier for Muhammad. Thank you, Sister Leah. My sister,
to be your father.
Yes, Sister Miriam says, thank you very much as well.
Thank you so much.
Raquel, I want to ask you, what do you do for fun?
What I do for fun?
Yes, sir.
I go shopping. I don't know.
Yes,
I take a vacation every now and then, maybe if I can. But trying to build something. As Brother Najim used to tell me all the time, fun. If you ain't got nothing, then people ain't want to listen to you. We got to make sure we build something so we can look like something to pull the people. So we strive to stay, looking like something so we can get the people together and, movement, you can't movement, you looking raggedy as hell.
Yes, sir. Actual facts. Okay. What advice, what has been the difference with raising sons versus daughters?
Raising sons?
Yes, sir.
Sons gonna grow up and they become men. And they're gonna make their own decisions. And they're gonna take somebody else's daughter as their wife. But your daughters, you give them away.
Yes, sir. So
you put more emphasis on who's gonna get your daughter.
Yes, sir.
I have my oldest daughter, Aaliyah. The next time she go get married, I'm gonna have a lot more to say on this one.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because you don't want to see your daughters hurt. Your son, you tell them, well, you made that decision. You live with it. But your daughters, no.
Yes, sir. Excellent. What advice would you give to future fathers?
Study the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan. He's not only a father of his family, but he's the father of the nation.
Yes, sir.
And, if you want to be a good father, your daughter, the first man a young girl falls in love with is her father.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if daddy is raising his hand and spanking and beating his daughter, then what will stop her from getting another man who reminds her of daddy? Daddy raised his hand at her, so why not her husband?
Yes, sir.
He reminds her of her daddy.
Yes, sir.
So we should not be those kind of men who raise our hand up at our daughters.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Know our wives.
Yes, sir.
Now, son, we knock the hell out of them.
Okay, excellent. What advice would you give to future husbands?
treat your husbands. Well, as FY, treat your husband, you should first make sure you have certain things in place. In Islam, we give something to the female to say, I've come in a way that you can trust me. So you give her a gift, a dowry.
Yes, sir.
100 head of cattle, or something like that. But so when you come to ask for someone's daughter, as a husband, you, excuse me, cars are moving out here. You need to be more learned, more educated on how to be a father, how to be a husband, because nowadays to get married is to take on other children a lot of times. So how you gonna deal with blended families? How are you gonna handle that? And how you gonna make them children your own and not give more emphasis on your biological and not the children comes from the mother or your wife?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You gotta blend the family and give justice and equality to them all. So Excellent. You have to take time to study that and seek advice from those who have done it.
Yes, sir. Okay, wonderful. Brother Alphonso, what, or if any, is there something that the Most High Mr. Farrakhan said to you that you heard that keeps you going after all of these years? You're saying 1978, you read, what I'm saying, the Most High Mr. Farrakhan stood back up and you've been rolling for so long. What is it about? What is it? What was the word? Something to make you keep going all these years as far as longevity?
When the Honorable Mr. Farrakhan stood up, his words, it kind of like fit me. Yes, I knew in my being that this was the man. And as he speaks and as he talked throughout the years, you're listening to see, is this man gonna come off course anywhere?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He's been perfectly on course. When he says something that's gonna happen, that man's mouth is not made to speak idle words.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It will happen. And it happens every time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So as long as he's on course, then you never, he's on course, so every year you see that everything he says come true. So there's no need if a believer should never get off course because something in Islam or something in the word or in the teachings you don't agree with. There's things that in this written that every Muslim just don't agree with. Lots of us don't agree with more than one wife.
Yes, sir.
But it's their religion.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's the way of Islam.
Yes, sir.
It's God's way for a reason and a season. And just because we don't agree with something, that don't mean anything when God deems it to be so. So we have to be careful when we disagree with what God puts down.
Yes, sir.
Lest we find ourselves on the other side of him. And we have to be real careful with that. Just because something in Islam or something that the man of God says for us to do, we don't like it. That's the time to be careful. The minister told me this one time. He said, Brother Capt, he said, in Islam, we don't follow nobody. If it don't fall on your desk, leave it alone. He said, when someone get put out the mosque, we don't have authority to put them out of the nation. He said, there's two circles. He said, one circle is the mosque. The other circle is the nation. We can put you out of the mosque. We don't have the authority to put you out of the nation. Only Allah can put you out of the nation. He said, but be careful. once you're out of that first circle, you ain't got but one more to go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, everybody who have had the opportunity to be around Mr. Farrakhan have received words from the man of God that he has spoken to you. And those words are words of guidance that will guide you throughout the years. And everybody, those of us who have that opportunity, can bear witness to those words that he has given us, regardless of what it was. There's something in those words that guides you and I throughout the years.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. And thank you, sir. Brother, Sister Teresa, like Salam, thank you for saying she said powerful. Brother Donald said that's right. Brother Kelvin said that's right. So Latrice, great show. Thank you, so Latrice. Brother Donald, everything comes true. And your daughter Stelia said, wow, profound. Praise be to Allah. Brother Cap, what was it like when you traveled from DC to Pittsburgh and other cities? What was it that made you just say, I'm going to go to another city to help establish Islam? What was that like?
Well, when we got these contracts, me and Brother Naj and Brother Sharif and us got these contracts up in Pittsburgh, and we would be moving around with your father, and we would be getting in and out of the car and stuff. They would have conversations, and your father would say stuff like, I sure wish somebody would step up. and going on up to Pittsburgh and run that thing.
Yes, sir.
Like out here, I'm like, ain't gonna be me. I ain't going up there.
Yes, sir.
And one day he did that again. I said, all right, I go. He said, about time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that's how I ended up here, brother.
Praise the Lord. Yes, sir. Okay, wonderful. And we're Captain, one more question. What do you want your legacy to be?
That I'm a Muslim. All the rest of it, I don't care too much for it.
Yes, sir.
But if anybody can say anything about Brother Alphonso, you can say he was ugly, you can say whatever you want. He was a Muslim.
Excellent. Okay, and thank you all for watching. And thank you, Rick, for taking time out of your busy schedule. And once again, one last question. I got one last question because I was telling my sister earlier when I told him I was interviewing you. What was it like being around a young Joshua Muhammad when I was young in DC?
Young Josh, I tell everybody this. You know, Josh used to love Brugos. And I would stop and pick them up from school, him and Mimi, and I would get them a bag of Brugos from the store.
Yes, sir.
But this particular day, but I probably didn't have no money, and so there was gonna be no Brugos. Josh was upset. He wanted Brugos. I said, Josh, we ain't gonna get no Brugos today. Josh punched me in my face.
Oh no!
True story. And I picked Josh up and I put him in the back seat with Mimi.
That's funny. And I apologize. I didn't know I was.
Oh no, it's all right, brother. Yeah. You wanted your Brugos. It's all
right. And we love you more, Sister Leah, and we love you, Red Captain. And thank you. My sister Mimi says, thank you, Brother Donald. My sister Mimi says, my family always tells us that you were the first FOI she ever saw. Mimi said my mom said you were the first FOI she ever saw, you and your brothers. Sister Mimi says, giving us wonderful flashbacks of these great teachings. Praise be to Allah. Everybody else just seems to be laughing. Mimi says, thank you for getting us Fritos. Josh was a brat. Mimi, don't do that. All right, but everybody. But thank you, Brother Captain. I love it. And thank you for your you put me on. You helped explain a lot with X-Men and superheroes as well. When you came to Atlanta, you helped me explain a lot.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir. I love your family and I love you, sir. And thank you, your parents and your children and your grandchildren. Thank you all for your sacrifice.
Thank you and your family.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and you all can see it on Josh Muhammad Off the Record. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.